Hey premenopausal ladies in your 30s, 40s, early 50s, are you tired of feeling tired, stressed, and out of balance? Well, it's time to simplify your health and start feeling good. I use my signature program, Simply Feeling Good Period, and my training, 5-day training, called Break the Cycle to Hormonal Health to help you get there. And if you want to know more, it's a 5-day training. It's a free training right now, so I would jump on it. The links and everything will be in the show notes. And really, it's simple. My approach is based on the Simply with an E method, which I created that has helped me and other women. And it covers everything you need to know to support your hormonal health and overall well-being. So sleep, stress, spirituality, intuition. We need to trust our gut and listen to our body. We need to learn how to listen to our body and what it's telling us. Mindset and minerals, our thoughts, based on scientific facts, do play a huge role in our overall health and even at a cellular level. So our thoughts and nutrition and how they play a role in hormonal health. Physical exercise. So exercise does not have to be a chore, ladies. Find a type of movement that you enjoy can make all the difference, and you do not need to spend hours and hours and hours at the gym taking you away from your family and your husband time. So livelihood, your work and career can make a huge impact on your overall being. We'll talk about that. Environmental toxins, your menstrual cycles and hormones. And if you're ready to start feeling good and to break the cycle to hormonal health, let's chat. Message me or in the description, click the link, read what the Break the Cycle to Hormonal Health training is about, sign up. It is free for now. And we can chat more. Hey, welcome to the Happy Hormones Coach, the podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Gamayo Self, where I dive into everything related to women's health and lifestyle, and you know me holistically. So join me, your host, as we explore the intricacies of female hormones, discuss tips and strategies for managing stress and anxiety, and discover ways to live a healthier and happier, more fulfilling life. From nutrition to fitness, mindfulness to relationships, I cover it all. So please grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's dive into the world of women's health together. This is the Happy Hormones Coach. Hey, and welcome back to the Happy Hormones Coach podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Gamayo Self. It is 2023, and I still can't believe that it's February. Really? Where did the time go? I don't know. Wow, the time flew by, and I hope you enjoyed listening to the past podcast episodes as I was working live and exciting new things in my businesses and my passion projects as well. I know that I left off with episode 1 of this season talking about change, and I did want to piggyback off of that in this episode because it is so fitting. So change is beneficial, and we may not want to recognize it at first, and we may not even want to see it. A lot of us kind of cover our eyes, cover our ears. We just don't like change, and that's kind of what we do as humans, you know, that part of our brain that wants to keep us safe. It does not like change, and so it'll do anything that it can to stop change from happening and get you out of your comfort zone and grow. It does not like that. It wants to keep us safe and comfortable. In a way, it's doing its job, but also it's holding us back. And so we have to push through that. You know, change, at first it can not be good. It can seem like it's not good. You know, there's circumstances where change is bad, I guess, or there's some circumstance that change is good, or there's neutral circumstances that we have to change and grow, and that's okay too. And so, yeah, we don't really want to recognize it at first, but I do want to suggest a reframe or a small shift in perspective if that's okay. So that is, instead of looking at what may be lost or whatever negative thing that our mind goes to with that change, let's look at all the possibilities and opportunities that it brings. Because with every change, there are new and exciting possibilities. And yes, that includes our health. All right. So even with our health, any circumstance or outside change around us that may not directly affect us, you may not think it directly affects us, but it actually does. It impacts our thoughts. It impacts our emotional well-being, our emotions, and maybe even spiritual part of us. And those have a direct relationship with our bodies and therefore our physical health. And, actually every part of our health. And the reason why I chose to do this episode today is not only because it is a new year and now a new month in the new year, but because of the changes that have surrounded me in the past 6 months, or even really the last year. I had to self-coach myself and shift perspectives in a lot of ways to see the good and the possibilities. And so it's really, thanks to, of course, everything that I've been trained in, what I do with my clients, but, I'm only one side. A coach needs a coach, a doctor needs a doctor, so on and so forth. And so my coach is really working on our faith-fueled thoughts. And I love it because it makes me dive deeper into these self-coaching models, and it makes me go back to my faith source, right? And it really helps me to connect that and how it all works together. And so I really, really love that. And yes, circumstances they're just neutral. And so we can either make it good or we can make it bad. And that does, like I said, directly affects every part of our body, including on a cellular level. So we really have to remember that and keep that in mind, that it does directly impact our health. And so people of leadership growing in their lives and businesses, leaving companies, even leaving the company that I'm partnered with, people in the fellowship that I used to belong to, that I'm involved in, leaving for differences of opinion, whatever. One I thought was close to me that I considered a friend, who I supported and truly respected and seriously admired, felt like she didn't need me in her space or life anymore, or whatever it was, because I'm still confused on that one. I mean, so I just don't know. I just don't know what happened, but it's not for me to know. I can't just sit and dwell. Why doesn't she want me in her space? Why does she not want to be my friend anymore? Why does she not? I can go on and on and on, but why do that to myself? And then why respond with negativity, right? It just doesn't help any aspect of my life. And other changes are others just growing up. And that's okay. And it's all well and good for the most part. It really is. Like I said, you have to remember, circumstances are just neutral. They are neutral. It is what our mind, how we allow our thoughts to change that behavior in us. And it does affect us on a cellular level. So again, circumstances are neutral. And it is all well and good. I've grown so much, and my businesses are expanding, as well as both my podcast. So a little side note, I will put the links to this in the show notes too, but I have a new podcast coming out. It's for faith-filled women believers, and it's, about scriptures, inspirational things, stories, stuff like that, and my personal story of how I came to the faith, etc. So if that is something that is your cup of tea, then go ahead and subscribe or follow. It will be the Salt and Light podcast. Once I get that up and running, I will put it in the show notes. Also, my business podcast for everything business and entrepreneurship and solopreneurship, everything like that, is the Selfless Entrepreneurs podcast. So I have those. So those are both growing as well, and my blog on each of those. So I'm pretty much everywhere, you could say. So a lot has been happening, and it's good. It's really good. I'm in new community groups, and I have a new coach, like I was just telling you about, and I'm surrounded by those people living the actual 1% life. Now, I never leave, and that's the end of things. Like, I don't want to grow that way and not just say goodbye. I always support and want to stay in relationships with those that I may not be so connected to anymore, like a year ago or 6 months ago. I'm always about supporting each other, always. And I left a company that I loved dearly, one that I fully supported and shared and rooted for. And this was one of my major changes, actually, because it was a major change for me. I wanted to hold on to it. One that pulled me in with the clean herbal skincare and with the foundation was built on values. It really aligned with mine, and I was just I knew I needed to be involved because of the values, faith, family, freedom. I believe that's what it was, and that's what drew me in. But they grew and shifted and rebranded recently in the past few months, and it no longer sat well with my spirit. Some of the symbolism and especially the new name, I won't go into all of that here, but I might in my other podcast, Salt and Light. So anyways, and I did do a mini kind of Facebook video on my profile, and that's just kind of like why I left that. So that was a change, but they had a change, and it didn't sit well with me. I left. It doesn't mean I don't like the products. I do. They're awesome. But I just couldn't be affiliated or partnered with that. So that was a growth. That was a circumstance that it could have just made me really upset and just whatever, but I didn't. I just bless and release, right? And they grew for what they thought they needed. So growth and change kind of go hand in hand. Hopefully you are growing from whatever change that you are experiencing. So you see, we can choose to let our circumstances, again, they are neutral. We can choose to let them bury us or change us in a negative way and ultimately affect our health. Or we have a choice to decide to move with it, grow ourselves, and get comfortable with stepping out of our comfort bubble and being fluid in the way of knowing something has changed around us or within us, and it's happening either way. Whether you like it or not, and decide to see what opens up to us in the way of like new possibilities, new opportunities, new connections, new relationships, new growth, and so much more. Once we shift our mind to think what we're losing out or what we may be missing, what's the possibilities? What new opportunities? Who can I meet through this? There's so much good on the other side as well. Because again, change is inevitable. And like I was saying earlier, we can bless and release those that no longer align with us, or maybe like in my case, I no longer aligned with their world in that herbal skincare product. But however that may look like for you, that was for me. And it doesn't mean I have hatred or negativity at all. And just I no longer align with it, so we grew apart, and sometimes that happens. We can choose to see circumstances that throw us where we may not want to be, but we can choose and decide it will be a good thing and believe that it can be a good, because most often than not, it is better than before. We can't see that far most times because of the circumstances, or rather, not really the circumstances, but because of where our mind automatically goes. We are in the middle of it, and there's circumstances around us that it may throw us and it may change us, and our brain may think of it as bad. Because again, we can't look that far past the fog of what our brain and our thoughts automatically go to, because again, it's trying to keep us safe. But, most times it is for the good, and it's only in hindsight that we do learn that. And there is such beauty in the ashes and beauty in the growing outside of our comfort bubble. And once we discover that we have the choice and we decide how we respond, not react, but rather respond to any situation, either ours that is happening around us or anyone that we are close to, then that is gold. Our thoughts do directly affect our actions, or rather inactions, and it directly affects our health and our body, physically, spiritually, and mentally. And again, on a cellular level, it really, really does. You're going to hear me repeat that because it really does. So when you're done listening, and then try journaling about any changes that you are in currently, whether it's voluntary or not voluntary, and how you feel at first, how you felt at first, if it was past, or unless you're going through it right now, how you feel. Then write or say out loud a decision that it will be good. It will be better than good, and write and say all of the opportunities or possibilities that can come with this change. We gotta really dig deeper and take ourselves out of the situation and look at it from a different perspective. So kind of just step back and really write from there because a lot of good stuff can come through there. A lot of opportunities, positive thoughts. We really have to, again, train our brain to think these things about whatever is happening around us or to us or within us. And so I bet you'll feel a lot better physically and mentally after. And it may take multiple times to do, but press on and keep reminding yourself of all the positive aspects. Like I said, our critter brain is trying to keep us safe and goes to negative thoughts because it wants problems to find solutions to, and it just kind of generates that kind of cycle, and we want to break it. We want to break that cycle and just really rewire, train our brain for the positive aspects. All right, so that's enough for now. I like to keep these short and sweet, but until next week, here's to your health and simply feeling good, period. Oh, by the way, before I leave, I do want to share with you, I am releasing a free, for now, 5-day training called Break the Cycle. It is a micro but valuable training. It's a video training by email on what my Simply method is and foundations of our overall health for women, going back to our hormones, premenopausal women. And you may think that it's your hormones, but it may be a lot of other little things that are pushing that imbalance and what may be normal for premenopausal. We're not in our 20s anymore, or maybe even early 30s. So we experience changes, that's natural, but I go over how we can beat that, how we can actually just simply feel good, period, because I believe all women of all ages and stages, especially this stage, because I'm in this stage myself, can simply feel good, period, and age gracefully and wonderfully. It can be a joyful thing, guys. We have to push with it, right? We have to go with it. Again, change, circumstances neutral. How are we going to handle it? So that's what I go through. I will have the links up as well. You can check all over on Instagram, Facebook, The Happy Hormones Coach, or you can go to thehappyhormonescoach.com and get more information on that. And also, if this show has helped you in any way or any previous episodes, please share, follow, or subscribe and leave a review. It means the world to me to share these messages with others around the world and change lives. All right, until next week, to your health. Thanks for tuning in to the Happy Hormones Coach today. I hope our discussion was informative and helpful for your health and well-being. If you have any questions or comments about today's episode or have suggestions for future topics, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can find me on social media or visit my website. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please consider leaving a review and sharing it with your friends and family. Remember, taking care of yourself is essential, and I'm here to support you on your journey toward optimal health and happiness. So until next time, stay happy and stay healthy. This is the Happy Hormones Coach.